Well, good afternoon, good morning. Hopefully you're having a good day. We're going to pick up again today on Friday, June the 12th, looking at another one of the activities that has to do with SpongeBob SquarePants and all those characters. And we're going to be looking again at experiments, looking at controls, independent variables, dependent variables, results, conclusions, hypotheses, similar to what we did on Wednesday. So looking at your paper, first thing, make sure you put your name on it, and let's go ahead and get started on the first story. The instructions say, SpongeBob and his Bikini Bottom pals have continued doing a little research to solve some problems. Read the description for each experiment and answer the questions. So the first one says, Krusty Krab's breath mints. Mr. Krabs created a secret ingredient for a breath mint that he thinks will cure the bad breath people get from eating Krabby Patties at the Krusty Krab. So you know, last time it was talking about gas that they had. This time it's bad breath. So he asked 100 customers with a history of bad breath to try his new breath mint. He had 50 customers, or Group A, eat a breath mint after they finished eating a Krabby Patty. The other 50, Group B, also received a breath mint after they finished the sandwich. However, it was just a regular breath mint and did not have the secret ingredient. Both groups were told that they were getting the breath mint that would cure their bad breath. In 2 hours after eating the Krabby Patties, 30 customers in Group A and 10 customers in Group B reported having better breath than they normally had after eating Krabby Patties. So I'm going to be giving you one answer on each one of them this time instead of all of them, but we can talk about each one of them. So remember that the people who are in the control group are going to be the group who did not get the breath mint with the secret ingredient. So is that Group A or Group B? If you don't remember, go back and read through the paragraph again. The independent variable, the thing that was being tested, is the secret ingredient that's in the breath mint. And if that's the independent variable, then what would the dependent variable be? Well, it would be if people had noticed a change in their breath. So it says 2 hours after eating the Krabby Patties, 30 customers in Group A and 10 customers in Group B reported having better breath than they normally had after eating Krabby Patties. So if 30 out of 50 if 30 out of 50 had better breath in Group A, then that would be 60% of the group had better breath. And if 10 people in Group B felt like they had better breath, then that would be 20% of that group. So what should Mr. Krab's conclusion be? If 60% of Group A felt like they had better breath, would you consider those mints, that secret ingredient, to be effective or not? And then why do you think the 10 people in Group B reported having fresher breath? Well, remember what we talked about on Wednesday, in the last set of questions, and the idea of the placebo effect. They thought they had better breath because they thought they got the mint that had the secret ingredient in it. Make sense? All right, so let's go to the second story. And the second story says, SpongeBob Clean Pants. All right, so SpongeBob noticed that his favorite pants were not as clean as they used to be. His friend Sandy told him he should try using Cleano detergent, a brand new laundry soap that she found at Sale Mart. SpongeBob made sure to wash one pair of pants in plain water and another pair in water with the Cleano detergent. After washing both pairs of pants, total of 3 times, the pants in the Cleano detergent did not appear to be any cleaner than the pants washed in plain water. So what was the problem they wanted to investigate? It was how to get cleaner pants, right? So what was the problem he wanted to investigate? How to get his pants cleaner. What was the independent variable? In other words, what was he testing? He was testing the detergent, right? And what was the dependent variable? It would be whether the pants got cleaner in the water with the detergent or the water without the detergent? And what should his conclusion be? Well, he probably would conclude that the new detergent wasn't any good, right? Because he washed his pants 3 times in that detergent. They weren't any cleaner than the ones that he washed in just plain water. So the problem he wanted to investigate was how to get his pants cleaner. The independent variable was the new detergent. The dependent variable was how clean his pants were after being washed 3 times, right, in that water with the detergent compared to pants in just regular water. And then what should his conclusion be? That probably that the detergent wasn't any good. All right, so let's go to the third problem. The third problem, the name of that one is Squidward's Symphony. So it says, Squidward loves playing his clarinet and believes it attracts more jellyfish than any other instrument he has played. In order to test his hypothesis, and his hypothesis is he believes that the clarinet attracts more jellyfish. In order to test his hypothesis, Squidward played a song on his clarinet for a total of 5 minutes and then counted the number of jellyfish he saw in his front yard. Then he played the song a total of 3 times on his clarinet, right? And then repeated the experiment using a flute, and then did it again using a guitar. So 3 times each on the guitar, on the flute, and on the clarinet. He also recorded the number of jellyfish that he observed when he was not playing an instrument, and the results are shown on the chart. So trial 1 with no music, he didn't see very many, right? 5 jellyfish, and then 3 jellyfish, and then 2 jellyfish with no music. With the clarinet, he saw, what was it, 15 and 10 and 12. With the flute, he saw 5 and 8 and 9, and with the guitar, 12 and 18 and 7. So what was the independent variable that he was trying to test? Right? What was the independent variable? Whether music would attract the jellyfish, and the one that he thought would attract them the most was the clarinet. So what was the dependent variable? Well, the dependent variable would be how many jellyfish came into his yard. So the number of jellyfish would be the dependent variable. What should his conclusion be, and are his results reliable? Why or why not? Well, music seems to attract jellyfish more than when there is no music. That would really be about the only conclusion that he could clearly make, because it doesn't tell, for example, how much time he waited in between playing each kind of instrument. If he let the jellyfish leave and then started playing again when they came, and then counted them as they came back. It doesn't really say, did he do it all in one day? Did he do it on different days? So his results, he doesn't have enough detail here to tell whether his results are really reliable or not. And that's part of what we do when we do an experiment. When we look back at the results, we have to kind of pick it apart and decide whether what we did was appropriate or not, accurate or not, to make sure that the results are reliable, that we can depend on them. So, you know, while these are some interesting results, you could probably adjust the experiment to make it more specific and make sure, for example, that you're playing the same music each time. Was he playing the same music, or was he playing really, you know, interesting, exciting music on the clarinet, but then sort of like chamber music on the flute? What was he playing? So we don't know enough, in other words, to be able to tell whether his results are reliable or not. And then our last scenario today, super bubbles. It says that Patrick and SpongeBob love to blow bubbles. Patrick found some super bubble soap at Sale Mart. The ads claim that super bubble soap will produce bubbles that are twice as big as bubbles made with regular bubble soap. Patrick and SpongeBob made up 2 samples of the bubble solution. One sample was made of 5 ounces with the super bubble soap and 5 ounces of water. The other was made with the same amount of water and 5 ounces of regular soap. Patrick and SpongeBob used their favorite bubble wands to blow 10 different bubbles and did their best to measure the diameters of each, and the results are shown on the chart. So it says, let's look back through the experiment again, and it says that the ad claims that the Super Bubbles soap will produce bubbles that are twice as big as bubbles made with regular soap. So the way that we would have to look at this would be to look at what the ad claims, right? That the bubbles will be twice as big. So what's the independent variable? The independent variable is going to be the super bubble solution. And the dependent variable is going to be the size of the bubbles. It's not the solution with the regular soap. That's going to be your control, okay? So when you look at the results on the chart, the first thing it says here on number 17 is to calculate the average diameter for each bubble solution. So to get that, you would have to add all the bubbles together and then divide by 10. And rather than doing that, I just went ahead and did it for you and gave you the numbers. So the super bubble average diameter was 15.1 centimeters. The average bubble with regular soap was 10.5 centimeters. Now, obviously, the ad says that they're supposed to be twice as big. And if they were going to be twice as big, then they would have to be at least 20 centimeters, right? And they're not. The average is 15. So what should your conclusion be? That's the first thing. Well, based on the numbers, the conclusion looks like that the ad is not correct. But are the results reliable? Why or why not? Well, you need to think this one through and think about if you were blowing bubbles with a soap wand, what are some of the things that could affect the size of the bubbles, right? So those factors that might affect the size of the bubbles would be reasons for why the results would not be reliable. Okay? So, one of the things on there, it said they did their best to measure the diameter of each one. Well, how are you going to measure the diameter of a soap bubble without popping it, right? So that's one problem I see right away. But then there are other things that you might be able to think about if you were with a little bubble wand and blowing bubbles. What could affect the size of the bubbles, in other words, besides the solution itself? Because the solution does have something to do with it, but the idea that you'd have bubbles that are twice as big is kind of a promise that an ad really can't make because we've got too many other things that enter into it. So as soon as you're finished with this, please hand it to the coach. And if you have any questions about this or anything else this week, let me know. I look forward to hearing from you, and hopefully next week we can start an activity, a lab that you'll be able to put together and run there in the pod. So take care. Look forward to hearing from you and seeing all of your great work. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.